This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Sports trivia for those of us that rode the pine. I'm your host, Josh, and today's game will be pitting the Benchwarmer team of Dan and Mason versus the Benchwarmer team of Matt and Walling. That's right, it's another all-Benchwarmer affair. Whee!
Oops, all Dicky boys.
Nope, no Dicky boys. Dan and Mason, how you guys doing? And let us know what your team name's going to be.
All right, well, I'll go first because I don't have a team name pretty much any time, except one time recently, apparently. But yeah, I'm doing okay. Just tired, but I'm glad to hang out with you guys. I love teaming up with Dan, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, doing good.
Wonderful. And Dan?
Spent the day at a distillery today.
Nice.
Yeah. And yada, yada, yada. I'm drinking a lot of water.
But you yada over the best part.
I mentioned the bisque. And our team name for no real reason whatsoever that anyone's going to understand, except for maybe a couple people that are on the show right now. Our team name is going to be, we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. I think that most people have that same reaction.
Sorry for all our Pittsburgh listeners, including
David Feuder?
David Feuder, yes, thank you.
All right. And Matt and Walling, let us know how you guys are doing and what your team name is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know either, Josh. This is going to be, we're all going to have a discovery together here. Things are good. I just drove back from a family get together. My wife's grandfather just turned 95. And so we had a get together in the old folks home where they had a bowling alley, all you could bowl, for free, which meant, and all of my kids left with intact digits. So I consider it a parenting win for the weekend.
Nice.
Even though Nolan was whipping in like an 8-pound, Nolan pretty much was having a competition with himself to see how many times he could hit the bumpers on the way down and still have it make it all the way down. And I think his record was like 6 times. So,
that's impressive.
Impressive. Yeah. He's got real cannon on him. Matt, what's our team name?
So I was just trying to edit here. So, what I decided to do for a team name, because I'm terrible at picking team names, is I figured let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT.
No.
What we should do for a team name. So let me type in here.
Chat roulette?
So no.
That'd be a helicopter.
Pun sports trivia team name. Let's see what they come up with. Wordplay Warriors? No, that's lame.
We kind of thought it was going to be lame going in. So, I mean,
so without the pun, with just called sports trivia team names. So here's the options that you have Walling to pick from. I'm not going to do all 15. Let's do the top 6 or something.
Okay.
So the All-Star Brains, the Trivia Champs, the Sports Savants, the Brainy Ballers, the Quiz Ballers. I like the Quiz Ballers. The Sports Smarty Pants. Trivia Cracklers. Oh no, Trivia Tacklers. Excuse me.
No,
Cracklers.
Trivia Cracklers.
I like Trivia Cracklers actually better. Let's do that.
All right, Trivia Cracklers it is. Thanks, Chat.
Trivia Cracklers.
Can we use Chat GPT for these questions too?
Oh my!
Let's see if we can beat Chat GPT.
Trivia Cracklers.
All right. Well, with that, we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh.
Oh, I should probably tell the story that I'm going to Pittsburgh. That's why it's funny.
Well, then you can tell the story quick if you want.
Okay, I'm going to Pittsburgh on Friday or Thursday or whatever it is.
Are you excited about it?
I am excited. Actually,
see, there you go.
I'm not excited to go to Pittsburgh as much as I'm excited that I get to hang out with my buddies. So
we got our name from the Chat GPT too as well. It was really weird.
All right. Well, with that, let's kick it over to One Take Dan for the rules.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway. That actually took me like 5 takes.
No, you can't. No.
He was 1 take Dan until he went to the distillery today, and now he's 5 take Dan.
It's five drink Dan, actually, but you know.
All right, well, today's first quarter will be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? The answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points.
All right, question 1 in pre and post game. What British tennis player, who had been the most recent player from England to win a major singles tournament dating back to 1977 until Andy Murray won the 2012 U.S. Open, is also a third baseman who won 5 batting titles in the 1980s?
Yeah, that has to be it.
Okay. All right. If you're good with it.
Yeah, we can check that in. That's right.
Okay. We'll check it.
All right, we're excited that we are not going to Pittsburgh. Has checked in. Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk it out.
Okay.
How's your British tennis?
Dude, yeah, as soon as he started talking about British tennis players, I thought, all right, well, I know Andy Murray. So I started to type it, and he said, except Andy Murray. And I'm like, son of a gun, come on. So I honestly don't think I know any other British tennis players. You said that the baseball player is George Brett, which makes a lot of sense.
I mean, that's the only third baseman I could think of that would have won 5 batting titles in the 80s.
Yeah.
Cal Ripken was a shortstop.
And anybody in the National League was getting boxed out by Tony Gwynn.
Who wasn't playing third base.
What?
Believe it or not, that body was not quite fit. That speed.
Back in the 80s, though, he was a sleek looking.
He was svelte.
Svelte.
I don't think he was ever svelte.
In comparison to himself, he was svelte.
Yeah, he wasn't as rotund.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
All right, so...
Anybody, I don't know, Josh. Yeah, we don't know anybody. So a British tennis player whose last name was George?
Tom George Brett. Tom is a very British name. Let's go with that.
But you don't want to go with Boy George Brett?
Okay, Boy George Brett. I like it. Let's do it.
Wait, so we have no idea.
Okay, and we're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have?
Yeah, I got this going back to front because the first person I thought of that's a third baseman that would be someone who'd win 5 batting titles in the 80s is Wade Boggs. And then the only tennis player I could think of with the last name Wade is Virginia Wade. And Dan seemed to like the time frame for it. So we went with Virginia Wade Boggs.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer is Virginia Wade Boggs. Unfortunately, George Brett only won 1 batting title in the 80s, but he also won 1 in the 70s and 1 in the 90s. I think I had a question about him winning in 3 consecutive decades, but, Anyway, that was a long time ago. Virginia became the first woman to be elected to the Wimbledon Committee in 1982, and Boggs was the first Tampa Bay area native to play for the Devil Rays. The more you know.
Ba-dun-dun-dun.
All right, let's move on to question 2. What 3-time Olympic gold medalist from the 1960 Summer Olympics is also a Hall of Fame power forward who earned 12 All-NBA selections while playing his entire 16-year career with the Syracuse Nationals / Philadelphia 76ers franchise?
Josh, we're going to go ahead and check in.
All right, the Trivia Cracklers have checked in. We're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
I was just about to throw out Dolph Schayes to you, and I think you beat me to it. So,
and the only person I can think of that would be that decorated with a gold medalist around that time that ends in Dolph is Wilma Rudolph.
She had polio.
Yeah, I do remember that. I can't think of anything else that works for that.
Hold on a second. Can we just something just random facts? She had polio.
She did.
It's from a previous episode.
It was episode title.
I think I'm only going to speak in episode titles for the rest of the evening tonight.
You have almost 200. You have over 200 different things you could say. So
yeah, I think that's got to be it, Mason.
Yeah, that's a 100.
Yeah, that's 100.
Yeah, we're gonna officially check in with Wilma Rudolph Shays.
All right. And Trivia Cracklers, what did you guys have?
Yeah, the same thing. I said Wilma. Actually, I said William Rudolph, and then he said Shays. And then I went back and said, no, not William, Wilma. Sorry. I think it must have autocorrect or something. But anyway. So yeah, Wilma Rudolph Shays.
All right, both teams will be getting points. The correct answer is Wilma Rudolph Shays. Wilma dated boxing legend Muhammad Ali during the early 1960s. And Shay's son Danny is a retired NBA center who played in the NBA for 18 seasons.
That's a lot of seasons.
Yeah. Question 3. What defensive end, who holds the NFL record for consecutive seasons with 10-plus sacks with 9, is also a 6-time World Series champion and Hall of Fame pitcher known as the chairman of the board?
We're going to go and check in.
Trivia Cracklers have checked in.
Hey. Dan. The Trivia Cracklers have checked in. We're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
I'm pretty sure the chairman of the board is Whitey Ford.
Okay, and then
So I think Reggie White works well for that then, right?
yeah, it works pretty well, I'd say.
All right, so we're gonna go with we're gonna check in with Reggie Whitey Ford.
Okay, and Trivia Cracklers, what did you guys have?
Yeah, Matt and I both kind of came up with Whitey Ford, or I was starting to type Whitey Ford right as he sent it to me, and then working back to front as Marcus intended. We came up with Reggie Whitey Ford.
Once again, both teams will be getting points. The correct answer is Reggie Whitey Ford. Reggie has two streets named after him, Reggie White Boulevard in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Reggie White Way in Green Bay. And Ford made a cameo appearance on a 1984 episode of Remington Steele.
Which one is a more impressive feat?
I mean, 2 streets probably because it's, 2 versus 1 cameo. Maybe. I don't know.
But it's Remington Steele. It's Pierce Brosnan, man.
That is true.
He's a Bond.
Yes.
One of the worst Bonds, but,
The movies were bad. He wasn't a bad Bond.
I think he was the worst Bond, actually.
The movies were awful. They were just bad Joel Schumacher movies. It's basically like they made 3 Bond versions of Batman Returns.
Well, they shouldn't have done that.
They should not. It's fair.
All right. Well, let's move on to question 4. What outside linebacker who won NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1981 is also the Canadian billionaire who owns the Aston Martin F1 team that his son Lance is a driver for?
Hit the F1 key, Mason.
No, don't hit the F1 key.
It's stuck again.
Can't have that kind of disruption in our recordings again.
Oh, well, it's really nice. It sent me to an emoji search bar, so let me do that. Or GIFs. There you go. I love how one of the 2 of the first 4 that come up are Boston Bruins. I don't know how I didn't ask for that, but okay.
Nobody's ever asked for that.
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
I think we can check in.
No. That was a joke answer.
Oh,
No.
he checked in. No.
Okay, never mind.
Wait, no. Hang on.
Hey, Josh. I don't think we're going to check in.
Trivia Crackers has not checked in. They cannot talk it out.
It would be diabolical.
It would.
Are you saying something I would do would be diabolical?
Are there any billionaires who have that first name? I don't think there are.
Are there any Canadian billionaires? I can't even name one.
Well, there's at least one.
Apparently, I learned that today.
Dan, have you not been paying attention to F1?
I haven't. I wanted to.
Oh, see?
I've been paying attention to AFL instead.
And really, you wouldn't necessarily know the name from watching recent, it would be from watching Drive to Survive. That's where you've definitely heard his name most, I would say.
Hey, Josh.
Yes?
Oh.
We're actually decided that we're going to check in with our original answer.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Trivia Cracklers have checked in. So we're excited that we are not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that the Rookie of the Year is Lawrence Taylor.
I feel like it has to be. I can't think of anyone else.
Yeah, so some Canadian billionaire whose name is Taylor.
Yeah.
I don't know who that would be, but
Taylor McBillionaire. Good a name as any.
A little on the nose, don't you think?
yeah,
Taylor McMoneybags.
I don't know, and I can't even think of any old episode titles that would help us here. Except for that Taylor Schroll was our guest on She Had Polio. So
Wasn't he also on the Cheesecake Factory one?
yeah, he was. He'd been to a Cheesecake Factory once or twice. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with Lawrence Taylor, butts, fanny, booty, and cheeks.
Wow.
Oh. It's a little saucy, but okay.
Well, that was an episode title. That's whew. And Trivia Cracklers. What do you guys have?
I clued in on Lawrence Taylor fairly quickly. He said Stroll, and we didn't know. And then as soon as I said Lawrence Taylor, he said, yeah, Lawrence Stroll. And I said, wait, now. Hold on a second. So is this a diabolical Josh thing where the guy's middle name is Taylor and it's a Jermichael Finley, Lawrence Taylor Stroll? And then Eric said, well, wait, now. It's Lawrence
Stroll.
I'm like, oh, come on.
Come on.
That's not diabolical.
No. The diabolical would have been if his middle name was
Taylor.
Was Taylor. That would have been. I would have been like exploding my brain, and I would have absolutely. As much as I love you, Josh, I would have fallen in love with you all over again because I just love this chaos would have reigned, and everything would have been right with the world.
So, what are you checking in with?
Lawrence Taylor and Stroll.
All right. And you know I wouldn't pull a Jermichael Finley with all the crap I gave Walling about that one. But one team will be getting points because the correct answer is Lawrence Stroll. LT voiced the steroid-riddled, possibly insane former football player B.J. Smith in the video game Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And according to Forbes, Stroll has a net worth of $3.6 billion US as of February 2023.
I mean, is that really a lot of money when you think about it?
Yes.
It feels like a lot of money.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
All right. So after the first quarter, we have a score of 75-75. All right. Today's second quarter will be the missing link.
The missing link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
So question 1 in the missing link. What wide receiver was selected with the first pick in the second round of the 2020 NFL Draft and has more than 3,000 receiving yards through his first 3 seasons?
We'll check in.
All right, we're excited that we are not going to Pittsburgh is checked in. Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk it out.
So obviously wouldn't have been one of the, because one of the huge. 2020 was
a good
Jefferson.
Right. CeeDee Lamb was a few
CeeDee
picks
Lamb,
before
yeah.
that. I think famously Jalen Reagor right before Justin Jefferson.
What was what's the Cincinnati's number 1 wide receiver?
Why did I just?
He was a first round pick, but he wasn't 2020, was he?
No. Yeah, year after Burrow, right?
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. Sorry, yes, that was 2020.
So Chase was 2020?
I think so. Or 21. Burrow was 20. Yeah, Burrow was 20, and then Chase was 21 because last year was his second year.
Didn't they double up? Was T. Higgins was 2020, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was the year before. He was definitely on the team the year before before Chase was. And Michael Pittman is in that area too. I think he was in that draft. I think it's Higgins or Pittman. I just don't know which one. I can let you make the call.
Pittman. They haven't had a solid quarterback though for years. They've had a bunch of, Matt Ryans and freaking Carson Wentz, right?
God, yes.
I mean, just with that, we got to go with T. Higgins then, right?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
You want to check in with that?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, we'll check in with T. Higgins.
Okay, and we're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have?
Well, I actually had to kind of work backwards a little bit because typically the team with the first pick in the second round usually has the first pick in the first round unless they're tied with someone. They kind of rotate. So the first pick of that draft was Joe Burrow. So logically the Bengals would still have that pick because they were by far the worst team. So I remember T. Higgins was drafted second round. Jamar Chase was 2021 afterwards. He was 5th overall, I think, that next year. But yeah, we checked in with T. Higgins.
Both teams will be getting points. The correct answer is T. Higgins. And yes, I'm sitting there going, it was the first pick in the second round. Who had the first pick overall that year? And I know you can trade, I get that, but it's like, my Lord, you had it, and then you were like wandering away, and I'm like, oh God, come back.
I think Pittman would have been a couple picks after. He was in the 30s.
One
I'm
pick
pretty
after.
Sure. Yeah,
he was the second pick in the second round.
And does he have over 3,000 yards receiving?
I don't think Pittman does.
Right.
So you have Sam Ellinger throwing to him by that point.
Of the six wide receivers selected ahead of him in the draft, only Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb have more receiving yards.
Nice.
Yeah,
well,
one's
not playing because
he's going to be serving a very long prison sentence.
He should be. Yep,
deservedly.
Who are you talking about?
The first wide receiver taken in that draft.
Picked, Henry Ruggs.
Oh yeah.
And then Jalen Reagor was mentioned. I can't remember who the couple other ones that are they're doing decent, but they haven't got to 3,000. But anyway, that's not here nor there. Let's move on to question 2 in the missing link. Who is the 2-time All-Pro return specialist who played his entire career in the state of Missouri and has been nicknamed the Human Joystick and the X Factor?
Just checking. Well, you don't even need to type it to me if you look like you knew it right away.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll check in.
Okay. The Trivia Cracklers have checked in. We're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
Dante Hall?
That's what I was thinking too. Where do you play besides Kansas City, though?
Guessing the Rams?
That's why I'm guessing based on the question. That's what I'm saying. I didn't think he played for the Rams. That's why that's why I didn't know if you knew if there was any others that were outside of Missouri that eliminated him, but Human Joystick got me to Dante Hall right off the bat. So
yeah, we'll check in Dante Hall.
Okay, and Trivia Cracklers, what did you guys have?
Texas A&M legend. Not to be confused with the fan who tried to go by the same name, X Factor, and got himself kicked out because it turned out he was a terrible human being. We also checked in with Dante Hall.
Well, teams will be getting points. The correct answer is Dante Hall. Hall is mentioned in Lil Wayne's song Dipset Reppin' Time in the line, "I'm like Dante Hall, I just throw up the X."
When you said Texas A&M, I thought you were going to say Dat Win. Because that's the first person I think of when you say.
It's roughly the right time frame. The Dante Hall highlight against the Broncos, where he jukes two guys and they run into each other and fall down. The one guy that takes out the other guy, I had, let's see here, speech, calculus, and other classes in high school with. So that's his highlight is taking out another guy and watching Dante Hall run right by both of them in the NFL.
Nice.
Yeah, but he didn't break his tailbone. I mean, come on.
True. And he didn't butt fumble. So, I mean, there's worse
True.
highlights to have.
Good point.
All right, the theme-linked answers thus far are T. Higgins and Dante Hall. Moving on to question 3. What boxer defeated Ken Norton for the WBC heavyweight title in 1978?
We'll check in.
Okay. We're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. Has checked in, so Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk it out.
Okay, so Foreman hit hard like 74-ish, 73, 74-ish. Then he kind of dipped there at the end of the 70s. I don't think he was a serious contender at this point. I'm pretty sure that this was Larry Holmes. Because if I recall correctly, and you'd probably know this better than I, but I think Norton both won it and then lost it in 1978.
Yeah. And I was reading about this reading about heavyweight champions and history of heavyweight champions not too long ago. And I do remember that fact.
I think,
like I said,
Ali came back with the whole stuff with Foreman and Rumble in the Jungle. What's his name?
Sorry.
Why am I
Liston.
missing? No, Sonny Liston was like 1963. He was gone. He was out of the picture by like the mid 60s. Yeah, Sonny Liston got beat by Ali in 1963 after Sonny Liston beat Floyd Patterson in 62. Or we're going way back. Okay, so who am I thinking of? Anyway, who cares? So we think I'm like 70% sure it's Larry Holmes.
Like I said, there's a lot of the late 70s, early 80s, like pre-Tyson names kind of run together for me. But I'm fine with that. That was one of the names that I threw out there at the beginning. And if
are you confusing Larry Holmes with Larry Spinks? Too many Larrys?
Yes, too many Larrys, too many Spinkses, too many Larrys, too many Mayweathers, too many Pattersons.
Larry!
All right. We're going to check in with Larry Holmes.
Yay, and we're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have for an answer?
Whoever knocked this guy out, did he have a 14-inch reach advantage? Is that another one? So I go way back to an old HBO commercial where they're talking about it's something like it's Soldier Story and Larry Holmes, Phil Collins 2, HBO brings it home or something like that. But I always had Larry Holmes, being synonymous with the very early 80s. And I think he got it right before that. So I'm going to go. Yeah, we also said Larry Holmes.
Okay, both teams will be getting points. Correct answer is Larry Holmes. Holmes won his 69th.
Nice.
And final bout in 2002 against Eric Butterbean Esch.
I saw some videos of him training the other day. He may be making a comeback, so let's not write him off yet.
Well, final
I'm
bout
ready to write him off.
Through 2022 for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I thought 21 years was maybe enough to say he was done, but maybe not.
You never know.
All right. The theme-linked answers thus far are T. Higgins, Dante Hall, and Larry Holmes. Moving on to question 4. What Stanley Cup winning right wing for the Calgary Flames has unquestionably the greatest mustache in NHL history?
We're going to check in, Josh.
Hey, Trivia Cracklers have checked in. We're excited we are not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have?
It's Lanny McDonald. We're just trying to buy some time to try and think of what the theme might have been.
I figured that might be why there wasn't a very fast check-in from Dan, but yeah. Okay, and Trivia Cracklers, what do you guys have for an answer?
Yeah, I couldn't remember it for a second there, but then I said Lanny, and he said, "Oh yeah, McDonald." So that's what we checked in with also.
I would like to thank this podcast for me knowing that answer, because
Yes.
otherwise I would have had no context at all.
All right. Well, both teams will be getting points because the correct answer is Lanny McDonald. And Lanny McDonald also has a top 4 facial hair in sports history. So says the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast.
So say we all.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you're probably not a patron. And if you would like to become a patron, you can go back to, I think, our second and third bonus episodes where we did a facial hair tournament bracket. So the theme-linked answers thus far are T. Higgins, Dante Hall, Larry Holmes, and Lanny McDonald.
A fourth one ruined my possible theme guess of guys whose last name start with H.
You would think maybe somebody purposely put the first three as the first three for some reason.
But sometimes the theme's so obvious, so you never know.
All right. Question 5. After almost 3 years, what tight end is still ranked the 4th best in New York Giants history on Ranker.com?
Ranker.com.
No. I figured it out.
Send it. Go ahead and send it now.
Shoot.
Doesn't
Oh
matter.
my gosh. I'm mad because I know it. I can send. I know the other ones too.
Yep. I do too now that you say that. Yep.
We'll check in.
Okay. We're excited. We are not going to Pittsburgh. It's checked in. So Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk it out.
Is that it?
What?
Oh,
The
sorry.
theme?
No. Sorry. I just was making sure that still met the clues that Josh said that was the 4th best. Was that who you had come up with as the 4th best? I can't remember.
So this Ranker.com was like early on.
Oh yeah.
This was an Eid thing, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I could have swore this was Mark Bavaro, right?
Okay.
I mean, no one would just randomly know. I just thought that was why Mark Bavaro came up, was because of that. So I don't know. I forget. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What am I going to do? But I thought that's who it was.
I'm fine with that then. I couldn't remember what it was. I just remember Ranker being a point of contention.
Yeah.
So I thought Shockey right off the top of my head, and then you were like, no, the dude who carried a bunch of people on his back. It was like Bavaro. So yeah,
I was like, dude, he had like an Italian name or something. I was supposed to write that anyway.
No, yeah, Marco.
That doesn't help us with the theme though.
Well, you gotta have time after. Let's
we'll check in
answer
with Mark Bavaro.
Okay, and we're excited. We're not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have for an answer?
Yeah, I remember this in the infancy of this podcast. Because it's part of a pre and post game that no one could figure out. It is not Mark Bavaro, unfortunately. It is New York Giants legend Howard Cross.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer is Howard Cross. I do believe Mark Bavaro is number 1 on Ranker.com, and Jeremy Shockey is 2 or 3. But to be fair, GMenHQ.com ranks Howard Cross the 5th best. So,
Do you remember Howard Cross?
No.
I mean,
He's
he's just a face, right?
Yes.
Famous.
The guy who's saying no one ever is to blame.
hey, can I do my thing here?
You're supposed to be in charge of this
I got it.
business.
You
Josh.
guys keep
Just do it.
talking. All right. The theme linked answers are T. Higgins, Dante Hall, Larry Holmes, Lanny McDonald, and Howard Cross. So now is time if any team wants to. Well, I guess, you know what? Let's put it this way. One team has checked in with the correct answer, and that would be, we're excited we are not going to Pittsburgh. So Trivia Cracklers, you guys can take some time and talk out what you think the theme is.
So we have Howard, Larry, Dante, Lanny, and T. Or we have Cross, Hall, Holmes, McDonald, or Higgins.
We had famous priests, famous Ronalds.
Yep.
Neither
Mhm.
neither
No.
appear to have fit enough clues.
And now that we have Howard Cross, we could say famous the Ducks.
Chris's.
Famous
Oh,
shirts,
Yeah.
shirts.
T-shirt.
I had polo as a
there you
possible
go.
answer
There
coming
you
up.
go. I like it.
Oh,
man.
Famous people that wrote the Inferno.
Famous Magnum PI sidekicks.
Tease Inferno.
Yes.
Tease
Magnum
Inferno.
Tease Inferno. Yeah. And then my
that's
right
Lanny's
after-
Inferno. Come on.
with the second
Lanny's
one.
Divine Comedy.
With the second one, it had to be somebody. Obviously, was Magnum PI characters. Man, I am.
Oh, they could be famous detectives. Famous
Cross?
detectives?
Oh, Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Alex
Higgins?
Cross. Higgins was a detective on Magnum PI, right? I don't know about Hall and McDonald. I really don't have much.
It's better than anything I got.
All right. We can go with that then.
Detective.
Although I think the idea of famous either Ronalds, priests, people who wrote Dante or Infernos, or Magnum PI characters as a collective was a good theme.
Sure,
I do.
and we all know that Walling doesn't understand how this order works.
Yes.
I'm still
That
figuring
adds
this out.
another
guys.
one.
Yep.
All right, so let's kick it over to we're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh with the correct answer.
I'm very at myself for not getting this any earlier than the level. And for Walling. Walling should have gotten this earlier or at all. So Cross gave it away because I can only think of one famous person named Cross, and that is Christopher Cross. We were joking about Michael McDonald before that, and that's why I was mad at myself. Rupert Holmes, famous for Pina Colada song. I forgot who Hall was. I didn't know who that was, and then Dan made me realize it's
Hall &
Daryl
Oates.
Hall.
Yeah.
I was thinking of other, and then Higgins is Bertie Higgins, which I had forgotten about. Saying Kilo was the first song you think of for him, but these are yacht artists.
That is correct. These are athletes who share surnames with yacht rock artists. So when you guys at the beginning were joking about yacht rock, I'm like, oh, just you wait. And
Yeah.
it surprised me that Mason didn't get it before the fifth clue. And it really amazes me that Eric Walling did not get it at all. So
I have a playlist on my phone
Yeah.
called Yacht Rock, and I mean,
Yep.
Daryl Hall with Hall & Oates and Michael McDonald. I didn't know. I mean, when I think of a musician named Cross, I think of well, no, never mind.
Howard Cross.
Christopher
No, I was thinking of
Chris Cross.
I was thinking now
It'll
when I
make
was
you
like,
jump.
wait, no, that's not. It's. I was thinking of David Crosby. So what?
Oh.
An ad.
I thought you were talking about
no,
David Cross. He's not a singer.
But this is I went all yacht rock here for you guys. And,
I like it. I appreciate it, and I'm mad at myself. So.
I'm
Hey,
not
but in
against
the
it.
end, Mason, you ended up with 50 more points than the
So-
other team because they didn't get it. So it's the same as if
Yeah.
you got it earlier and they got it after the
Yeah.
fifth. So
Sure. Yeah.
if you want to look at it
Good enough.
that way, you don't have to feel quite as
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
bad. All right. And you named all of the yacht rock artists, so I don't have to say anything else.
There you go. Look at that.
After the second quarter, we have no longer a tie. The trivia cracklers are at 155, and we're excited. We're not going to Pittsburgh. Has 225. Is that correct? Yes,
Yes.
that is correct because
We
you
had
guys
one-
didn't
one
get one of
150.
the ones. That's right. Yep. So 155 to 225. And that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
This is almost unbelievable, but this is the ChatGPT pre and post game edition of halftime.
No.
So you guys mentioned Yacht Rock and ChatGPT earlier. Well, I asked ChatGPT to make up plots for movies based on a combination of a sports movie and an Oscar-winning film. I massaged a few of the words because, just like Walling suggested, you got to change a couple of things here and there. So, Mason, I know this isn't really up your alley, but you might have some input.
Maybe.
Actually, the first one I think you'll do fine with.
Okay.
Question 1. ChatGPT gave me this plot. A comedy drama about Bobby, a shy and awkward assistant in charge of hydration who works for a professional football team. Bobby forms an unlikely bond with a mysterious aquatic creature living in the stadium's underground pool, and together they fight against the exploitation of the creature by the team's owner.
We'll check in.
All right, Trivia Cracklers have checked in, so we're excited. We are not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
Okay, then it's going to be the shape of Waterboy.
Oh, okay. I was going the other way and I had nothing. Yeah, I was like, I have nothing that fits that. So, okay. Sure.
Yeah. Check that in.
And Trivia Cracklers, what did you guys have?
Same thing. The really weird I'm falling in love. At least the boy doesn't fall in love with the weird animal in this. That would be creepier. So, shape of water boy.
Well, teams would be getting points. The correct answer is the shape of Waterboy. Yeah, so you see how this works, right? Yeah. All right.
Sure.
I have no flavor text for these because
it's already in the question.
All right, question 2. Well, ChatGPT gave me the following plot. A romantic drama about Quincy, a talented but struggling hoopster who falls for Viola, a beautiful and struggling aspiring actress. Despite coming from different worlds, they are drawn together by their shared passion for the works of the bard and their desire to achieve greatness in their respective fields.
The hell did you just send me? Not you, Josh.
No, I was just telling you about my weekend. We're just chatting on the side. Yeah.
Like, what to say?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, we can check in.
Yep.
All right, we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. It's checked in, so Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk this one out.
Yeah, I think I've got it. There
you go.
Sure
Yeah.
it's Shakespeare in Love and Basketball, which was like the movie that every athlete girl at our school was like, you have to watch this if we're going to be friends. So
Shakespeare in Love?
Wait.
Yeah,
so
no.
to
Love and Basketball.
graduate, you had to watch Varsity Blues.
And to date someone, you had to watch Love and
You had to
Basketball.
watch Love and Basketball.
Exactly. Where you're all learning the rules of Texas high school.
Texas is weird.
And it's weird because they don't have any books in their schools anymore either.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they just watch
They
films.
burned them all.
Oh,
All
yes.
right. So we're excited. We're not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have?
Same thing. Shakespeare in Love and Basketball.
Both teams are getting points because that is the plot to Shakespeare in Love and Basketball. Okay. Finally, number 3. ChatGPT gave me this plot. An action-packed adventure film that follows the story of Cole, a skilled and daring race car driver who sets out to break the world record for circumnavigating the globe in the shortest amount of time. Along with his trusted team of mechanics and navigators, Cole embarks on a high-speed journey across every corner of the planet, facing off against other racers and overcoming a variety of obstacles along the way.
We can check in.
Yeah.
What am I even here for?
We're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. It's checked in. Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk this one out.
Dan beat me to the microphone, but are you good with Around the World in 80 Days of Thunder, Matt?
Yes.
All right. Check it in.
And no Pittsburgh. What do you guys have?
If that's the answer, I'm quitting the podcast. Yeah, it's Around the World in 80 Days of Thunder.
Both teams are getting points because that is the plot to Around the World in 80 Days of Thunder.
And Dan's quitting the podcast.
He's throwing that at me.
I'll do it on his.
I quit the podcast last Sunday.
No, that's actually the name of of one of our episodes.
Oh, true, that is. And I did say I was quitting the podcast.
You also chose Chaos, by the way.
And I lied apparently because I'm still here. Hi guys, I didn't quit. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else interesting that you said before we started that comes to play anymore. But Yacht Rock and ChatGPT were absolutely part of my game. It blows my mind.
Called
All right,
foreshadowing.
After halftime, the difference didn't change, but the scores did. Trivia Cracklers are at 230, and we're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. It's at 300. Now on to the second half.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks!
Today's third quarter will be Let It Ride or Throw in the Towel.
Let it ride or throw in the towel. For this quarter, there will be 4 questions in a given category that increase in difficulty. After each question, teams can decide to let it ride and attempt the next question, or throw in the towel and take the points they have accumulated to that point. Each question is worth 50 points. If a team answers incorrectly, they will lose half of their points accumulated in the quarter.
Today's category is Hitting for the Cycle. Question 1. What player became the first ever Marlin to hit for the cycle on April 11th, 2023?
We can check in.
Trivia Cracklers have checked in. So we're excited. We are not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
Is that a rise?
Yes, it's a soft day.
It's Luis Arise.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check it out.
Okay. And Trivia Cracklers, what did you guys have?
I believe his name is pronounced Arise. So, yes, it's Luis Arise.
Both teams will be getting points. The correct answer is Luis Arise. Through 20 games, Arise has a batting average of .444. Can he finish above 400 for the season for the first time since 1941? Note,
No.
5 other players finished their seasons above 400 between 1943 and 1948, having at least 85 plate appearances, but were short of the 502 plate appearances needed to qualify for the batting title. It's amazing. You say no, huh? You don't think he can do it?
No.
All right.
If there, you know what, honestly, around this time, I mean, around 2023 era, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him. I mean,
Agreed.
I don't think anyone else is going to come anywhere close to that.
No. I just thought, throw that out there so since this just happened, this is what got me thinking about hitting for the cycle, and then I did a bunch of research. So now the question is, guys, do you want to let it ride or throw in the towel?
I don't know, Wally. Are we going to throw in the towel or no?
I'm good with letting it ride.
Okay. All right. We'll let it ride.
Are we going to let it ride, Mason? I suppose.
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah.
Okay, both teams are letting it ride. So question 2. Since the last Major League Baseball expansion in 1998, what 3 teams have not had a player hit for the cycle? The last players to hit for the cycle for these teams were George Brett, Eric Davis, and Mark Grace.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with those.
We're going to check in.
That.
Okay, Trivia Cracklers have checked in, so we're excited we're not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
All right, so Eric Davis is going to be the Reds.
George Brett has to be the
Royals, and then Mark Grace. Cubs, right?
Sure. I'm guessing.
I think that's got to be it.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Mark Grace, other than I know he was the hits leader in the 90s.
Yeah, it's yeah.
That's
pretty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Cubs with him. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll go the Reds, the Royals, and the Cubs.
Okay, and Trivia Cracklers, what did you guys have?
We typed the same thing to each other in varying orders. The only question we had was whether Mark Grace hit one for the Diamondbacks, but when you read through the question, it wouldn't make sense for it to be the Diamondbacks. So we checked in with the Cubs, Reds, well, I guess Royals, Reds, Cubs.
Okay,
respectively.
both teams are getting their points. Correct answers are Kansas City Royals, Cincinnati Reds, and Chicago Cubs. Only one of these could have possibly been a different team, and that's Eric Davis, who played for a handful of teams in this time frame that would have worked, because I do believe Mark Grace didn't go to Arizona until 2000.
Yeah.
And we all know George Brett only played for one team, so there was only one that could have possibly been a different team, but was probably going to be the Reds. So good job, guys. The Reds, you have to go back to 1989, the Royals in 1990, and the Cubs in 1993. So now the question is, are you guys going to let it ride or throw in the towel?
Now let it ride, baby.
Woo!
No Pittsburgh?
Ride, let it ride. Yeah, I think we got to do that, right, Mason?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Both teams are letting it ride. On to question 3. Since the last MLB expansion in 1998, what 3 players have hit for the cycle 3 times, tied for the most times in Major League Baseball history? The teams with which these players hit their 3rd cycle were the Texas Rangers, the Washington Nationals, and the Milwaukee Brewers.
All right, we'll check in.
Hey, we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. Is checked in, so Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk it out.
I think we were pretty close to checking in too. I really do think that the Rangers one is Beltre. The more I think about it, the more I think it's Beltre. I think we're almost 100% on Yelich for the Brewers, if we're not 100%, and Turner for Washington. I was just back and forth between whether Gomez hit one with the Rangers or had 3, I guess. But I think he had had a couple with the Astros, or maybe I'm misremembering, but I do remember Beltre having at least 2 with the Rangers. So I think I'm good with Beltre, Yelich, and Turner for our 3.
I agree.
All right, check it in.
Okay. And we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have?
Mason had Yelich and Turner pretty quickly. Then we had to think back on who it could have been for the Rangers. And I remember specifically that Adrian Beltre hit for the cycle against the Twins about 10 years ago. And without anybody else to throw on the pile there, we just decided to go with him because we knew for a fact he'd hit one at least. So we also said Adrian Beltre for the 3rd.
All right, both teams are getting points. The correct answers are Adrian Beltre, Trey Turner, and Christian Yelich. Beltre had 1 with the Mariners and 2 with the Rangers. Turner had all 3 with the Nationals, and Yelich had all 3 with the Brewers. All right, you smarty pantses, are you going to let it ride or throw in the towel? And we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. It's the team that's winning has to declare first, correct? Isn't that what we've done?
That's true.
So no Pittsburgh, you have to declare first if you are going to let it ride or throw in the towel, as you are winning.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
If we don't go for it and they get it right, we would still be up.
Okay, well,
because it's what, 50 points, right? For each.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah,
maybe we should stop then.
Because if we get it wrong and they get it right, then they're ahead, and we have no idea what this 4th is.
Yeah,
going to be.
All right. I'm all right with that, unless Mason's trying to hoodwink us.
He's trying to take down the team from inside.
No. Yeah.
That's an old episode, by the way.
Yes, I do remember that.
You throwing in the towel?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Mason, that just feels right.
Yeah, it does.
So right now we have 150 extra points.
Correct.
And they have 150, obviously, getting all 3 right.
Correct.
If we get this wrong, we end up with only 75 points, and then we would be down by 145 points going into the 4th.
Sure.
If we get it right, we would be at 200 points and we would be down by 20 points. So it's either be down by 100 and something, 150-ish, or down by 20-ish.
Josh, let me ask you, is the question who the first cycle in Rangers history? Because if so, we'll let it
definitely.
This could be who's the
I-
first cycle ever.
I cannot
In 1897.
divulge that information.
Okay,
Not
it's worth a
confirm
shot.
nor
In 1897.
I won't feel bad if you both throw in the towel. I mean,
All right, we probably. I'm not gonna
I
lie
mean,
to you.
with the
Being
new
140
point
down is
structure, unless you're feeling really good, like the old way, it was more worth going for.
Right.
Now, where you can gain 50 or lose 75, it becomes a much different calculation.
Yeah, I'm good with throwing it in if you are.
I mean, I'm still going to ask the question, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
yeah. I don't think we're gonna get this. So
Right.
all right. So both teams have thrown in the towel, but we will still go through question 4, even though both teams are chicken.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
All right.
Have you even heard of chicken?
I don't think he has.
All right, question 4 probably might be a good thing that you didn't. There's not a lot to grasp onto on this one. Question 4 is, since the last MLB expansion in 1998, what National League team has had 9 unique players hit for the cycle, the most of any team in Major League Baseball? I'm not going to paste it because, we're just...
Oh, boy.
If you guys want to talk it out all together to make some interesting audio at least, go ahead, because there's nothing riding on this.
I would have guessed St. Louis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could see that. Since 1998.
The Dodgers, maybe?
The Dodgers
thinking-
popped in my head too.
Yeah.
Braves have had a couple recently, the last few years. I know. I don't think it's
They've
9,
been
though.
really good since '98.
I probably
Or at
won't
least
let this go
respectable.
too long because,
Yeah.
So here, let me throw this out as a little clue. What stadium do you think would help a triples hitter maybe hit a home run to assist in getting, because triples are always the toughest. So,
Yeah.
but what field might
Colorado
help somebody
Rockies?
not? Huh?
The Colorado Rockies?
It is the Colorado Rockies.
Oh, interesting.
That would make sense.
Dante Bichette, Nefi Perez, Todd Helton, Mike Lansing, Troy Tulowitzki, Carlos Gonzalez, Michael Kadire, Nolan Arenado, and Charlie Blackmon have all hit for the cycle. The
Minnesota
Texas
Twins
Rangers
legend.
have also had
Mhm.
9 cycles since the last expansion, but as we previously heard, Adrian Beltre did it twice for them. So they've only had 8 unique players hit for the cycle since 1998.
I wonder if I could name them.
I mean, I don't have the list right now, so.
Okay. All right,
Oh, actually, you know what? Give me a second. I actually probably can get it pretty quickly because I made a spreadsheet.
I'm gonna write these. I'm gonna type these out real quick.
I was kind of anticipating there's a question because I know that his name Brock Holt had one in the playoffs. I thought maybe that might have. I had an inkling that might have been the last one because that's not a name you normally think of. Guys that hit for the cycle.
I just looked it up, Matt. Who's the last Twin to do it?
Wasn't there somebody recently within the last 2 years or 3 years that did it?
4 years.
Oh,
I
Almost
only know
exactly.
because I looked at this list, so I want to answer it.
who is it?
It's Jorge Polanco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't know
a
if I can
cold
name
game
all
against
9 of them,
Philadelphia,
or 8
right?
of them.
Let me, where
Yep.
are we at here?
Yeah, it was a
Texas
cold-
Rangers. There.
Yeah.
Do you just want me to tell you them, or do you want to?
I think so for sure. I think Teixeira, Kinsler, Beltre, Hamilton. Maybe did he have one?
No, he did not, but the
Okay.
other 3 did.
All right, then Cruz was another one that popped into my head, but I don't know
Nope.
if he actually hit it.
Nope. All right, so we got Gary Matthews Jr.,
Oh yeah.
Benji Molina,
Oh, that's right.
Alex Rios, Shin Soo Choo,
Yes,
That would make
and
sense.
you had mentioned him in your discussions earlier, Carlos Gomez.
First Rangers. One of my favorite baseball player names of all time, Oddibe McDowell.
Mm.
What
What a
a
great
did
name.
he
Nice.
make though?
Yeah, my spreadsheet I only have from the 98 because obviously I was trying to make it where everything was equal, right? Where every team had roughly the same number of games, barring bonus game at the end or not finishing rained out games, that kind of stuff. But that's why I did those all with that, so that every team would kind of have the same amount of chance.
Carlos
Right.
Gomez, Minnesota Twins legend?
Question
Yeah,
mark?
big question mark on that one. After the third quarter, we have the following scores. Once again, both teams ended up getting the same amount of points, so the difference didn't change, but the totals did. Trivia Cracklers are at 380, and we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh is at 450, so 380 to 450. And that brings us to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
So the categories for today are as follows. Question 1, sailing, in reference to the America's Cup. Question 2, Hey 19, in reference to Major League Baseball. Question 3, steal away, in reference to the NBA. And question 4, Baker Street, in reference to football. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question 1 in the category of sailing. Yacht clubs from 4 countries have won the America's Cup in the 37 matches that have occurred to date. The United States has dominated with 30 wins, followed by New Zealand with 4 wins. Name either of the other 2 countries who have had a yacht club win the America's Cup.
We're going to check in, Josh.
Okay, the Trivia Cracklers have checked in, so we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
So, Australia? Would that be one?
That's what I sent, because if New Zealand's doing it, Australia probably is. I don't know. I mean, there's not really much that I can go off of this. So out of the 37 matches, 3 of them have been non-American or Kiwi. And we just have to figure out one of the 2.
Only one of the 2. I didn't ask you for both.
I'm glad, because I have no idea. It's probably going to be some really weird country.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? I think now that you say that, I think Switzerland has won.
Really? Swiss, okay.
I think so.
Are you more confident in that than Australia?
No, I'm not. That one seems to have that one stuck in my head for some reason. But I got to think Australia's won it at some point, right?
I would think so.
Matter of fact, I think Australia may have been the first one to beat the US. So let's check in with Australia for 11 points.
Okay, and Trivia Cracklers, what do you have for an answer and a wager?
Yeah, that same Netflix series that has the Manti Te'o and a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, they had something on the America's Cup, and it was about how Australia beat America after America had dominated it, and they were the first non-American team to win. So we said Australia for 69 points.
Okay, well, both teams will be getting points because one of the answers is Australia, and Dan, the other is Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
Switzerland has won twice, while Australia has won once. There are only 3 other countries who have competed for the America's Cup. And this is for there's other competitions, which I'm not, the main match. There's only 3 other countries.
Italy's one of them.
Italy is one. Canada is one. And one who was the main rival. Rival? Can you be a rival if you never beat the US? But they many of the first 10, 20 were the United Kingdom. I am going to give a score update because things got a little closer because one team wagered more points. The team trailing did. So Trivia Cracklers are up to 449, and the No Pittsburgh guys are up to 461. Moving on to question 2 in the category of Hey 19. 2 Hall of Famers wore the number 19 for their entire 20-year careers, each with only one team. Combined, they accounted for 2 MVPs, 6 Gold Gloves, 8 batting titles, 10 Silver Sluggers, and 18 All-Star appearances. Name both of these players.
We're gonna check in.
All right, the Trivia Cracklers have checked in, and we're excited that we are not going to Pittsburgh. You guys can talk it out.
Well, Tony Gwynn, karate champion. He was number 19 for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think Robin Yount was number 19
Yeah.
as well. All right.
Would this count as a David question with all the stat pieces?
Probably.
Well, no, because it's not like who is the only person to have. This is so I could.
All right. It's
kind of a
David
David
adjacent.
You have to
Yes.
throw in like a funny little thing on the end that's like, ironically enough, they were both born on a Wednesday. Like that's going to help us.
You guys
I
got
think
an
so.
answer?
I think we got to go with that.
I think we do.
So
Yeah.
we'll say Tony Gwynn, karate champion, and Robin Yount for 100.
Okay, and Trivia Cracklers. What did you guys have for answers and wager?
Yeah, our biggest question was whether or not because we said Tony Gwynn right away. And I couldn't remember. I mean, I was almost certain that Yount didn't play for anyone else other than the Brewers, but yeah, we checked in with Yount and Gwynn.
400.
Thank you.
100.
Well, both teams are getting their points because the correct answers are Robin Yount and Tony Gwynn. 3 other players wore 19 for their entire career with only one team with a minimum of 10 seasons. Joey Votto, 16, Jim Gilliam, 14, and Tom Pagnozzi, 12 seasons. But let's move on to question 3 in the category of steal away. 2 players have had 11 steals in one game. The first was a power forward for the San Antonio Spurs in 1976, and the second was a shooting guard for the New Jersey Nets in 1999. Name either player.
Should we go with that one?
I'm fine with it. I don't have anything pulling me in any direction, so anything you have is better than what I have.
All right, we'll check in, I guess.
Okay, no Pittsburgh has checked in, so Trivia Cracklers, you guys can talk it out.
Okay. So we kind of exhausted our knowledge of the 1999 New Jersey Nets.
I have absolutely zero knowledge of the Spurs from the
1976.
Yeah. The only
I'm
name I
going to
can
say
think of-
this because it drives me nuts when I hear people say this. It was the year that I was born. It was from before I was born.
Okay.
When I hear people say that on trivia,
born.
when I hear people say that on trivia podcasts, it drives me insane. I don't care. I don't care when you were born. So trivia is trivia. It's like, oh, everything has to be since like whatever. Okay.
And that's
Rant
been
done.
your weekly Get Off My Lawn with Matt.
Yes.
So that you can never say the answer Babe Ruth then, I mean, come on.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so I was going to go with Kendall Gill, but then both you and I remembered at the same time that he
Not
was
a
a small
shooting guard.
forward, not a shooting guard. So then I was saying Marbury, but he was a point guard, not a shooting guard.
Right.
And then Kerry Kittles came up because you said he's the only shooting guard that you can think of on that team.
Right.
So
I
I
mean,
guess he's the only, and we have nothing on the Spurs.
I did have an irrational love for his high socks. And remember and they were on the famous Slam cover that was like champions by 2001 book it. And it was Kittles and Van Horn and Marbury or a kid, I can't remember. But I think Kittles he was a shooting guard and he was definitely on that 99 team with like Van Horn.
I agree with you on that one, yeah.
So that's about as deep as my roster knowledge of the Nets team goes, so I say we do it.
Terry Kittles for 100 points.
Okay, and we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh. What did you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Well, Mason, if they are correct, then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
I really thought that Kendall Gill was a shooting guard and not a small forward. And we actually did say Kendall Gill for 100.
Well, one team is getting points. And you can give an argument if you want, but the correct answers are Larry Kennan for the Spurs. He was a who for me as well.
Whom?
And Kendall Gill. You can argue all you want. His Basketball Reference does initially have him and Wiki have him listed as a shooting guard / small forward, but on the draft day he was drafted as a shooting guard. So Kendall Gill is the shooting guard for the New Jersey Nets from 1999 that we are looking for.
And
Okay,
now
'cause
we
I-
have
I
Salty
just-
Walling.
No, you have
Yes.
Salty Doherty
Okay.
too, because I just Googled and I got the Basketball Reference for the 1999 Nets, and it has Kendall Gill listed as a
As
small
their
forward.
small forward.
Look at his wiki. He's a shooting guard / small forward, and he was drafted on draft day.
Okay, but
as
you
a
didn't
shooting
say that
guard.
in the question that he was drafted as a shooting guard. You said the shooting
Whenever
guard
they've
for
and whenever
a
I've seen
shooting
dual-
guard for
whenever
the
I've
New
seen
Jersey Nets in
dual-
No,
99.
I don't,
He
I
was
don't
not a
care.
shooting
I don't
guard.
care, guys.
You're
I don't care.
wrong.
I don't care.
All right, moving on to question 4 in the fourth quarter. In the category of Baker Street, Baker Mayfield will be suiting up for his 4th NFL team in 2023. Everybody knows that the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who suited up for the most teams is Vinny Testaverde with 7. But what other Heisman Trophy winning quarterback suited up for 6 teams? Note, I do not count off-season or practice squad as suiting up.
Josh, we're going to check in.
Okay, so for the final time tonight, the Trivia Cracklers
It's not wrong.
have checked in. We don't like Pittsburgh guys. You guys can talk it out.
We never said we don't like Pittsburgh. We just don't want to be traveling there. All right, we've thrown a bunch of names around. The one that we're trying to suss out right now is Ty Detmer. Because I can have him. I definitely have him on the Packers and the Eagles, and the Lions early 2000s,
And the Browns.
He was one of the
names on the
47 Browns quarterbacks.
Yeah.
For sure. I want to say he played for the Falcons like toward the end or maybe the end of his career.
Okay.
That's 5. I don't know if I can come up with a 6th.
Yeah.
though.
Because the best that we've been able to do is get to like 4 with someone. So
Yeah.
because I know I'm Flutie's 4. I know that.
Danny Werfel's around there, right?
Yeah. Andre Ware's probably around there, huh?
Yeah.
He's around 4?
He played for a bunch of different CFL teams.
Right. Probably the best that we can do.
All right.
I don't have anything. We have anything better.
None of this feels good. Thanks, David. Yeah, I guess we're gonna go with Ty Detmer for 100 points.
Okay, and Trivia Cracklers, what do you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Yeah, not his brother Coy. But yeah, we checked in with Ty Detmer. The one I think you're missing, Dan, is the year that is 1998. I'm pretty sure Ty Detmer played for the 49ers because that was the year the 49ers knocked the Packers out of the playoffs. So I remember that. So,
And since we're in the business of callbacks, I think he rode his bicycle to games.
Yeah.
Oh, he
The
did.
practices.
And how many points did you guys check
100.
in with? 100. Okay. Well, Dan, this answer might get you proclaiming Wahoo Whalers, because in that episode, you had a pre and post game which listed out the 6 teams that one Ty Detmer played for.
That
So
makes
both
sense
teams-
now that jumped out at me then.
Both
Okay.
teams will be getting points. I did not notice that until after I had the question written, and so I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, so both teams are getting their points. The correct answer is Ty Detmer, and I had to put in my my note for clarification about off-season and practice squad, because if you did count those even for NFL teams, Gino Toretta would have also hit 6
That's the
teams.
guy I was trying to think of. That's the guy I was trying to think of.
But one of the he did suit up for 5, so he was on 5 active rosters. But one, he was only, as a matter of fact, I think it was the Minnesota Vikings. He was only an off-season signing. He didn't even make the practice squad.
Yeah, I was so excited that they'd signed him. No, I didn't.
I mean, I probably was for like a second or two, but you know, it's that whole Heisman Trophy winner back when Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks were terrible NFL quarterbacks, but that's not so much the case anymore. So, all right, well, the game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. The Trivia Cracklers finishes with a respectable 549 points. And we're excited that we're not going to Pittsburgh, are our clipboard captains, who will be receiving the coveted Ty Detmer Award with 761 points. Surprisingly, Ty Detmer had not been used as one of our clipboard captains through 203 episodes.
But he was part of the Brett Favre backup plan.
Had Coy been used?
Did he ever play for the
Boy.
Penguins by any chance?
Penguins.
Steagles?
The Steagles.
Wait, should I tell them about the name that I thought of in the missing link there earlier, Walling?
Yes, please do.
What was it? It was oh shoot.
Burden Webb.
Kids in the Dante Hall.
Yeah, Kids in
Which
the
is,
Dante Hall. Yeah.
Which could be problematic. Let's not try to make that a thing.
All right, so just for one more, Mason,
I had
we
2
just
more,
remember
but
that Ty Detmer did play in the Honolulu Blue and Silver.
I appreciate in the second round we were sweating trivia to the oldies.
Yes.
I appreciate that. And Dan, since we won, you got to go shirtless, pal.
I gotta go shirtless, pal.
All right.
Make sure that Scott gets to hear this, the raw audio, because then he'll be able to. Scott will highly recommend this episode.
And I would like everyone to know I am left-handed, but not Episcopalian.
And do we have more? Anyone else want to chime in with?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Does
Matt
anybody
didn't have a
breaking-
premeditated super assault.
Does anybody break any news or any records today?
No, but we don't know why Mason has never seen The Sandlot. I think we're done.
I think
We're
so.
on the-
All right. Well, with that, on behalf of Dan, Mason, Matt, Walling, and myself, we'd like to say thank you for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.